Deborah Stonebarger, former senior criminalist with the California Department of Justice. Welcome to you and thanks for being here. In your mind, we've talked to lots of experts in the last 100 days. What is the most likely profile of the person or people responsible in this case, given what we know?
I think it's a little hard to say because we've seen some evidence of lack of competence as far as someone showing up on video and seemingly being unprepared, yet it's been 100 days and we haven't found Miss Guthrie. So I do think that there's an indication that more than one person is involved, and then their level of sophistication um, remains kind of somewhat of a mystery. I'm starting to feel like some luck is involved here, just simply with the fact that we've not been able to develop any leads or tips or meaningful tips, or even using digital evidence and cameras. It's a little bit difficult and challenging at this time.
Yeah, it's perplexing. And it's a tough case to solve, even all the evidence they seemingly have. You're among many who believe that there were more than one person responsible, but in your experience, in cases where there are multiple suspects and $1 million reward, I mean, that puts a lot of pressure on people to turn each other in, yet we haven't seen any indication of that to this point. What might that suggest?
I think that the biggest concern is fear of consequences, and fear of being caught is outweighing the possibility of a reward. And then whatever level of other intimidation or tactics, psychological tactics are being used. But I think that ultimately the people involved are the ones that the only ones at this moment that seem to have any meaningful information. And the fact that they haven't shared it, I think, just indicates a greater fear of being caught and a greater fear of consequences than actually getting a significant reward if they were to help.
It's not a cold case. I mean, 100 days in the scope of an investigation like this, although it feels agonist for the family and those close to it. It's not a lot of time. They are still pursuing leads. Yet, how significant is it that they're cutting back, scaling back on staffing for this type of investigation?
I think the scaling back on staffing as far as the sheriff's officers, that's completely acceptable and normal at this point in the investigation. I don't think there's a lot of active searching that needs to be going on. Obviously, they still need to be manning tips and trying to coordinate leads, but I do think what evidence that there is still in existence at the various laboratories, that's the part that can't stop. That's the part that can't slow down. Obviously, the potential DNA and evidence that is there was not easy to develop a profile from, whether it be mixed or whether it be a small sample or contamination or any of those issues. So it's challenging. It's slowing things down. It may take some extra time to develop possible genealogical leads, but that's the area now that simply cannot slow down, and I suspect is not slowing down. I think that all involved criminalists and labs in this are not going to stop.
Yeah, and a genealogical match, I mean, that takes time. I mean, as much as you want to speed that process along, that's an extensive process. Most would agree that the crime scene was opened up too soon. You can't go back and recover evidence after people have kind of trampled all over it. But is there anything that could be done now with a fresh set of eyes that could help rejuvenate or give a new perspective to this case?
To be honest, it's unlikely, because I think that fresh sets of eyes have analyzed this and have approached the area. So it's very hard to think of additional information that can be gathered at this point from a crime scene that, yes, was probably mishandled in the beginning to some degree, and then has since thoroughly been investigated, and with a significant, perimeter around it. I think that those leads have been followed to the best of the ability, but I can't. It's hard to imagine any significant evidence being found at this point